Welcome to the Echo Essentials podcast.
I'm Dave Dale.
And I'm Scott Clark. Dave, on today's show, we welcome another counselor back in.
Councilor Justine Mallah.
Mallah?
Mallah. Something like that.
We'll hear a little bit.
Not Moolah.
No, not Moolah. I didn't say Moolah. Did I say Moolah?
Well,
I said Mallah.
Yours was a little bit more of a U than an A,
huh.
But just a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so isn't just me that it's a simple name to pronounce? It looks like a simple name to pronounce, but
it's weird.
There's a little bit more to it.
Where you put the accent on the right syllable.
So before we get into that, tell us about your haircut. I want to know more about it. It's a very different look for you, and I like it.
I just said cut short there because I'm going to wear a toque all winter, and that's what they did.
Okay. Well, they did a good job. It looks good. I thought you were just going for a new style, or
I haven't even looked in the mirrh.
I haven't even looked in the mirror. Oh, well.
But thank you very much.
Well, you look good.
Thank you. You look great too.
Oh, bless you. So, some of the other I haven't.
It's Christmas. We can be like this.
Yeah, we can be nice to each other.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed you having Stu in and having Dave Mendocino in, and changing up the hosts a little bit and having different perspectives is kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, getting a few more voices in there, different perspectives. That's good.
Yeah, it'd be good to have like different media people come in and having different perspectives to hear their voice, because generally you just read their articles, you don't get to hear from them. So that's kind of interesting.
I relate to listening to Justine speak because she's usually at council is reading from prepared statements very, very often.
Yeah.
And I prefer to see someone just sort of try to, connect the dots and speak and see where they're at and how they feel about that. Because I know it's revealing in somebody's ability and articulation, but how they handle not being able to form a thought, whether or not they're insecure with it. Like I know I am sometimes. If you can't get the sentence out the way you want to, but also to see, you can watch how they're thinking a little bit more when they're not reading from prepared speech. So I like that. I really enjoy talking to her that way. I think I appreciate her a little bit more that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She, when I did a little bit of research going into it, she's quite educated, right? She has lots of different perspectives and education, and I'm really glad she came in. And she has this like really positive energy about her too, which is really cool. Just before we get into it, though, we're going to hear first a word from our episode sponsor, and that is North Bay Toyota.
It's time to Toyota at North Bay Toyota. Attention truck lovers. Have you been Tundra struck? The powerful and dependable Toyota Tundra is the new definition of grit. Ask us about amazing lease deals on a 2025 Tundra Double Cap SR 4-wheel drive, and experience ingenious levels of capability, technology, and refinement. Or maybe you're an SUV lover? Take advantage of a limited shipment of 2025 RAV4s and discover the perfect blend of style, comfort, and efficiency in a compact SUV that ignites your desire to explore. Right now, get excellent lease deals on the Toyota RAV4 LE all-wheel drive and more. It's time to Toyota at North Bay Toyota, 640 McEwen, or online at northbaytoyota.com for details.
Justine joins us. How do I say your last name?
Mallah.
Mallah.
Sure. That's great.
Did I say it wrong?
I get it all types of ways.
No, did I say it wrong, though?
I would say Mallah.
Didn't I say Mallah?
You're saying Mallah. You could say
Mallah.
Mallah.
Mallah?
That's
Justine
great.
Mallah?
Yep.
Okay. Justine Mallah, first-time counselor, and in the studios to talk a little bit about her experience and what she's learned over the last couple of years. So welcome to the podcast, first of all.
Thank you. Very much appreciate it.
I've only seen you on TV, and when you accost me at a DVD Club lunch. That's the only 2 times.
I know. I'm surprised we don't run into each other more often.
I know, because you're out at everything. Tell us a little bit about your hopes and dreams coming into council and how they've all been shattered.
I wouldn't say shattered. They've all been altered.
They've been altered.
They've been altered. But I'm still standing for what I believed in from the very beginning and still doing my best. So what I campaigned on, of course, was Be Heard, Be Seen, Vote Justine. So I'm still very much passionate about making sure that people feel like they're heard when they reach out to me. So I answer every email that I receive. The other pieces, though, I campaigned on were protecting our natural assets and making sure that we have access to our assets. So yes, I know we're going to talk about Sweetman's. That falls within that, of course. But then also really working to build community, right? And we know that a lot of folks are concerned about housing and homelessness. And so I think that when I came in, I thought that we'd be able to really make tangible changes. And I think that we are making some progress on that. And I'm hoping to chat with you about it. But I think in terms of my expectations, it's just, there's only so much progress and change that the city can do, especially within our limited jurisdiction related to those areas. So if you want, I can elaborate.
Yeah.
Okay. So
let me set the stage just for a little bit for you. This will help because you're a relative newcomer to North Bay, and in your first run from council, you vaulted into the chairwoman's position for community services. So you placed 3rd out of 10, which was probably beyond your expectations. How could you dream that? But there you are. So you're involved with a very important portfolio and new.
It's very true. Yes. It was a steep learning curve. It still is. I very much appreciate having, 9 other council members, as well as the mayor to learn from. And I think that we all bring different perspectives, which is incredibly important because it helps not only help me learn and see different perspectives, but allows us to put in effective policy because if we just have, my own perspective, I'll be missing various, other interests or various other components. So anyways, I really appreciate having the feedback and the perspectives from the other councillors, and my vice chair, Councillor King, also is very helpful, as well as city staff. They're always available when I ask questions or when I need more explanation or any of those pieces. But I agree with you. I was not expecting to get 3rd. I knocked on 3,500 doors. So that was I put a lot of work into my campaign, and I hope that I'm making folks proud. And if folks have any questions, like I said, I always answer emails. You're welcome to email me or call me. My number's on the website as well. So, and by website, I mean the city website. I don't know why I'm looking that way, but.
So what's the trick to email the councillor and not get put into the spam folder? Because that's where my first
This is an ongoing issue.
Yeah,
I know. So, the good news is that we have very good cybersecurity within the city. But there's been numerous times where members of the public email me. And I don't know if you included a link. It's sometimes if there's a link that will heighten your chances of being put in the spam folder. I'm surprised you were put in the spam folder, though, because there has been so many interviews done with other members of city council. But essentially, I constantly look through my junk. But I think for you were put in non-productive, which is this new email folder that I discovered.
Is that a shot?
And so I don't know what the non-productive emails is, but anyways,
it happens.
It's
I just wanted to bring it
frustrating
up
though,
it does happen.
because if you did email me and I didn't reply, you're probably gone into the junk or the non-productive, and I didn't see
That's
it. So
why I
email
brought
me
it
back.
up. So if you did email,
Yes, thank you.
follow up.
But anyways, I review those folders very frequently, and so
It wasn't too long before you realized. Yeah.
I felt like
a
it
week
was
and a
long.
half. Yeah, 2 weeks,
Okay.
maybe 3. Not too long.
Well, it's
and they're
hard.
gone
Forgivable.
after a month.
Yeah.
Well, the other piece of that, just because we work with municipal clients all around the province, right? So you take Hamilton, for instance, that had this massive breach. And generally, they take place when there's a link and there's someone, by accident clicks on a link, and next thing you know, people are within the system. So a lot of municipalities are really firewalling so many different things that it's also becomes harder and harder to reach out if there's a picture or something attached. It really has to be a clean email. If there's something attached, a picture or anything, often municipalities will block it out. But
Exactly.
I just want to.
No, exactly. The
They're
good news,
fearful.
though, is you should no longer be going to non-productive or junk.
Yeah, right
I
on.
flagged your email
Promoted to
IT.
second class. I'm just
Exactly.
kidding.
I would say first class.
There you go.
No, but it's yeah.
Let's talk
it's-
about Sweetman's Garden.
Let's do it.
May as well get it out of the way.
Okay. Well, I'm somebody who, like I said, campaigned on protecting our natural assets. I think that what makes the community in North Bay so unique is our access to all of the green space. I think we do really well with parks. So that's included in that piece, as well as, our lakes. And so I have been very attentive and responsive to, I spoke with both Liz Laud and Liza Vandermeer, as well as others as well over email. And I know that there's a presentation tomorrow night, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm somebody who would really, there's great value in having, like I said, parks within our community. And I know that park has a great history and is of great significance to a lot of people, not just folks in Pinewood. I do think that
Had you been to it before?
Yeah, I have. And I know that some folks do their wedding photos there or family photos there. And I know that the library had some sort of classroom learning session there as well. And I think it's important that we protect it. Right now, I'm looking into possible motions to ensure that that's protective, but it's a little bit more complicated. Just because it's not within the park's master plan. It's not really a city park. And then do we want the city maintaining it, or do we still want it maintained by community? And anyway, there's some pieces there, but definitely looking into motions to help ensure that it is a
And just for
protected
clarity
space.
for the people listening
Absolutely.
and viewing, we're recording this on the 9th, the Monday. The presentation going to council is on the Tuesday, the 10th. But this actually won't run until a week later.
Well, you'll see how I vote.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm not voting, actually. There's
There
no
won't be a
vote.
motion.
You'll
Yeah.
see my questions to the presenters, but I'm very much supportive.
But
of-
here's my thing on the Sweetman Gardens. Just so we're clear, Sweetman Gardens was not touched.
Absolutely, it was not. No,
was not touched.
It wasn't.
I think there was one tree that in the corner that was taken down, real close to one part of the property there,
Yeah.
but just
But
hardly touched.
No, because I had heard
Directly.
I listened to the podcast of all the different Sweetman Gardens proponents, and I'm all for it. I've always been for it. And if we want to develop land and have people grow and have people invest and do different things, so Sweetman Gardens is protected. Someone was overzealous in the cutting department, so we talked a little bit about that. But they, again, didn't touch Sweetman's Gardens. But could you imagine, how could a city grow if you have to have all sorts of meetings, extra meetings, to cut down some trees that get close to a protected area? I don't know how a city can function or grow.
And this is, I think, the tricky part, right? Is I think there needs to be more of a medium. I think that the way that the tree cutting occurred, I think they skipped a few steps because city council members didn't know. The broader public wasn't aware. I think that we just need to do a better job, at least, of communicating and engaging with concerned citizens on, key issues. I agree that Sweetman's Garden itself wasn't touched, although I do also recognize that cutting the trees does affect the wildlife and the ecosystems that are part of that space. And so I do think that there needs to be more consultation and more communication. I'm not exactly sure how that would look in terms of best practice, because there is that piece where, okay, how are we actually going to get things done? Mm-hmm. But I do know too that there has been conversations about potentially developing Sweetman's Garden, which is why I think that there is that presentation. There's no plans right now to develop, but we also do have a provincial government, and which we signed on to build as many units and houses as possible. So it's just very tricky.
But the part I always with it is I find fascinating, just because I've lived in this area for a long time. You live in the area as well. I've been involved with hydro during when they were, cutting some trees to make sure for power lines and different things that were happening. So if you're sending people into the Pinewood area, especially around the Jane Street area, to cut stuff down, there's got to be a red flag somewhere. Someone's got to go, okay, let's just be, okay, we're going into Pinewood area. There's a lot of Birkenstocks. There's a lot of, people who love their trees.
Okay,
they all go to the farmer's market. You don't want to be cutting down your trees down.
I understand that the name of Pinewood is Pinewood. So yes, people in Pinewood, I guess, are more likely maybe to care about trees. But I did receive emails too about from members of other areas of the city regarding concerns about, for instance, cutting with hydro and so I don't think it's just Pinewood that is worried about the trees.
But I am aware that people in the Pinewood area they feel there's a lot of naturalists in this area. That's why I say that, right?
Well, okay, fair enough. But the history of the city attempting to sell lots in the Pinewood area and sell parkland like the Kennedy trails.
And I was part of that. I remember that.
And then Hydro wanting to do a substation right there and take Sweetman. So they have a reason to be suspicious and distrusting because the planning, they've been coming for their sweet spots for a while.
No, but
quite a while.
I'm with you on that.
I know, but this latest thing actually just exposed how there's a possibility for unplanned destruction and not really good development practice because the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing in this particular case because you guys didn't know what was happening, right? So they have a right to be a little bit like, development's nice, housing's nice, but you guys got to get your shit together. Right?
I actually agree with you, Dave.
Yeah.
But that's why I was saying someone at the city, they have that short of memory that of the multiple things that you just said.
Yeah, it did expose a little bit of how things could happen. So people want it done properly, and that's going to be up to you.
And that's the piece too, right? Is how much involvement should members of city council have? Because according to the Municipal Act, right, like we're not supposed to be working on a micro level. We're supposed to be assisting and directing overarching policies, over governance, ensuring that we're financially in a very good spot. But we're not really supposed to be saying, okay, city engineer or the Parks Department or Public Works or whatever, you do this. Like that's not within our mandate. That actually is against what we're supposed to be doing.
But your mandate would be to set the policies and procedures for them to act upon things. And one of them would be you could have, before you're going to brush, clear cut along near anything valuable, you should call us.
I do think
that
is being looked into how it was handled. And
I think how you interpret that, or whoever interpreted what your role is, I would say that, Dave makes a really good point in that if you have a large group of constituents that are really pissed, that's kind of your job. It was them that put you in that seat. So I get what the provincial government is saying about, what the overarching role is. Totally get it. But if there's procedural problems that the city has that they aren't executing at a high level, like picking completely different windows constantly.
Oh, I heard about your concern about this. Okay, I just say
that to me that's a canary in a coal mine right there.
Can I just say that I thought that you were in advertising and I thought that you enjoyed creative uniqueness and a mosaic, as Dave would call it. I thought that you would just appreciate the art behind it a little bit more.
If I believed that the intention was artistic, that wasn't the intent.
But does art always have to be intentional? I don't know.
I like interesting. Does art always have to be intentional?
it's not what you tried to do. It's what you end up with. Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Anyway, I
It's a canary in the coal mine. If you don't look after those things, some yahoo's just going to go down to Sweetman's Gardens and plow it over because there's no checks and balances in place.
I assure you that won't happen. It's not going to happen. That will not happen unless there's a vote on council to,
Of course.
Yeah.
But they came close.
What do you do? What do you do for a living?
I can't talk about that.
You work for the public health.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I just really need to be careful.
You don't have to
with
talk
talking
about it, but that's what your job is, isn't it? Communications for public health?
I'm not in communications, no.
What? No? Weren't you at one point?
Is it a secret? Are you a spy?
Yeah.
What's going on?
No, I just have to be
You're
careful
allowed to say your
because
role.
I'm not.
You're allowed to say your role. It was on your bio.
It's true. I was on my bio.
Okay,
I'm
so-
community health promoter.
Yeah, I saw
but
that.
I also have to be very careful though.
Yeah.
Because I'm here right now in my capacity as a public official, as a city councilor, and so.
So every aspect of your life is open game because you're an elected official. But hey, you don't have to say anything about it. I just wanted to say that you have a full-time job, and you're a new mother, right? You got a young family, and you got this really big role for the city. So it's a full life. Are you going to run again?
I'm planning to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll obviously see. But I've really enjoyed my time as a city councilor, and I really think my favorite part is there's so many answers here, but one of the pieces is assisting citizens when they have a concern, and either working with staff towards alleviating the concern, or at least providing more information about why something's happening. Another part that I really like about this position is doing good in our community. And for instance, the all-wheel park. I think that was started by the previous council, but the all-wheel park really provides, more recreation opportunities that are accessible to really everyone in our community, but particularly youth in our community. And I think that along with other infrastructural pieces that we are doing to increase recreation for youth. So for instance, we worked with Rotary on the playground, and I should mention that the all-wheel park is with the Kiwanis, but then also with the new community center, and then we've also, put down more sidewalks and put in, or I guess approved the road safety strategy. I think all these pieces are going to be creating a better, more healthy future for North Bay. Recreation, for instance, is shown to, especially accessible and open recreation, is shown to, increase self-regulation in youth. It's shown to build teamwork, build self-confidence, build creativity. And I think that these are it's a protective factor for ensuring that youth don't engage in more destructive behaviors. Of course, it's just one protective factor. There's lots of important and lots of factors that play into that. But even though we're not really able to make as much progress as I want to with the homelessness and mental health crisis and an addiction crisis that we're facing, or I should really call it a humanitarian crisis. I think that that's kind of the language that a lot of folks are using now. We're able to work on prevention so that those who will be growing up in our community will hopefully have more factors on their side to protect them, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to be we're working with partners to build more of a healthy community going forward, and that also speaks to the $200,000 that we're contributing to Elmwood. And then we're also working with the health unit on the Planet Youth project, which is all about, once again, ensuring that youth are
supported and nurtured.
Yeah, supported and nurtured. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for finishing my sentence there.
I've heard you speak about it passionately a few times, and it's very genuine coming from you that you feel there's this, and it is infrastructure investment and any type of athletic, sports, recreation helps build better kids and families. Right?
Exactly.
And I'm going to bring up the arena as an example of that, because there's a lot of different debate and discussion. I'm not sure, I can't remember precisely where you fit in on the spectrum of that project 2 years ago when you were running, but I think you were most interested in hearing from people and what they wanted. How did it feel to be up there? Because I want to get that clip of you digging.
Oh, no, please don't.
Yeah. How did it feel to be part of that groundbreaking?
Okay, wait, sorry. Are you going to include that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, well, let me just say I'm good at art. Okay, I'm not good at getting dirty with digging and stuff. I don't do sports. I've tried.
Well, that was a good warm-up for when you're going to be volunteering at Sweetman's this summer to dig, because now you had your first...
I have assisted with planting trees now numerous times with the trees for Nipissing.
So you've operated a shovel before?
Yeah, I attempted it. I think I usually carry the trees. But yeah, okay, we're not all good at everything.
There's a role for everybody.
Yeah, that's really embarrassing. I didn't realize we were supposed to dig a hole. Anyway... Sure, include it.
It was a fun little groundbreaking. It was actually pretty cool. I like the part how I was trying to help Gord and figuring out the mic with the wind, and I volunteered my glove. So
that was your glove.
Peter Jericho was speaking into my hand for the whole thing. We're going to take a quick break from our discussion with Councilor Justine Mallah, and we're going to talk about one of our sponsors, Source for Sports. When I was trying to raise my boy, I spent so much time at Source for Sports. It was unbelievable. I think Paul wanted to kick me out a few times. He helped out, and us. We had multiple sports every year. I'm sure my kid played 4 sports a year. And I was driving by Source for Sports on Fisher every day. So it was always a deke in, find out what I can get on the cheap. He was very resourceful. As a former goalie, he really had a soft spot for goalie parents because the amount of equipment. And of course, my kid would change positions every other year, so I had to get new equipment. So they were literally the hub of my life for about 7-8 years going in there, and I always had a good recommendations, always got me the best price possible. It was very much a part of my life in being able to raise a kid in sports. And they had a lot of expertise. They knew the difference between good equipment and bad equipment. I was often looking for used, but they helped me get into some new stuff that was better. So they had a lot of range and price, different ranges. Pretty well a full one-stop shop sports store. So check it out. Wherever your sports journey is going to take you, as far as trying to help a kid, or if you're an adult trying to hang in there, that's the place to stop. 1321 Fisher Street, and Paul and his team are going to help you along your way.
North Bay Echo is proud to partner with Twigg's Coffee Roasters, a part of the community since 1995. Twigg's offers a wide selection of quality beans, fresh roasted in-house every day. Find your favorite specialty drinks at our espresso bar. Rejuvenate with freshly squeezed juice, or treat yourself to mouth-watering selections from our gourmet deli. And don't forget our irresistible fresh baked goods, including uncompromising gluten-free options. Twiggs has 5 locations to serve you, from North Bay to Sturgeon Falls to Sudbury. Order online for pickup at twigs.ca. And coming soon, you'll be able to order fresh roasted coffee beans direct to your doorstep from our distribution center in North Bay.
Like when someone runs, say for council, I find politicians have a difficult time because they say certain things when they run, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this. But then, often media, we hold them accountable to things that they say. But often, I don't know, I change my mind on certain things once I see a different view or a different picture of it. I'm kind of curious, what did you go in that you felt, feel really strongly about this, but your opinion has changed since getting in?
Changed.
And I think that's okay as human beings, and as we learn different things, I can't think of anything right now, but there's because your job is, as a leader at that level, is about compromise. Very few people, when they don't compromise, actually have any type of ability to govern. Jamie Lowry.
Do you know what? I think I'm going to go back to housing and homelessness. I think that when I went in, I had a very strong perspective in regards to the role of the city. And in a lot of ways, it hasn't totally changed. Like, I do think that we could be taking on more of a leadership role with community safety well-being, and I think we are doing that. And I think I just thought that we could do more. I didn't realize how few tools and resources that the city actually has enable to make significant progress in that file. As we know, it really requires assistance from other levels of government, and we're doing a lot of advocacy work to, move those pieces forward, amongst other things. But I think that I just expected that we'd be able to make more changes quicker. And I think a lot of people expect that too, because I see lots of comments. Why have you not solved homelessness yet? Like, why can't the money, for instance, from the feds for the community center go to affordable housing? And that actually it can't, because that's not what the grant was for.
Right.
However, if it's okay, I would love to speak to a little bit more about what we're doing about housing and homelessness issues.
Yeah.
So I think that what I learned as well, though, is how the city council, but also the city more broadly, is really using its resources and tools in a way that requires more innovation and creativity. And I think that we're coming up with creative solutions to problems that, again, will put us further ahead in the long run, but we're not necessarily tackling or dealing with the issues necessarily as directly as I would have liked from when I ran. So I already spoke a little bit about recreation. I think that that's an important part. But also with the community safety well-being plan, we are working. I'm on the advisory group, which includes numerous kind of key partners within the community, and we're going to be working on rewriting the plan to ensure that we all kind of have our perspectives included, and make sure that we all kind of have ownership over the plan. And that's being led by Brent Kalinowski from the city, and I believe you interviewed him before.
Good guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's
super smart.
So much knowledge. Wow. And then also I'm on the ad hoc committee of council. And so through that, we're creating a municipal chapter, which I'm really excited about. And it basically is going to be outlining all the pieces within the city's jurisdiction that we're doing and will be doing to advance community safety well-being from our end. So I already kind of mentioned the road safety strategy, parks, sidewalks, arts and culture. During our term, we enhanced and improved how much engagement we're doing with arts and culture. So now we don't just have I think it was the Wednesday night shows at the band shell. We also have Tuesday night arts and culture nights, which we're seeing at least 150 people out every night, usually closer to 400. They're really popular. Also, Brian Kimber, who's in charge of this file, he's also leading numerous workshops and after-school programs and all that for youth and also for adults, not after-school for adults, workshops for adults, which are very well attended. So then there's that piece. And then with PAC, so the Public Art Advisory Committee, which I'm a part of, we've put up those banners along the overpass, which we got tremendous
idea.
amount of thank
Oh,
you.
I-
It wasn't
yeah.
my idea, but I was a part of it. And I'm proud
Pushing
of
it
that.
forward. Good.
But you know what? Like, and then also art pieces at both Sunset Park and Champlain Park. Art to some might not seem important, but really it creates a sense of culture. It creates a beautification of spaces. It brings people together. It brings tourism. It increases pride of the community and encourages conversations. And so I think with more recreation and more arts and culture opportunities, it really will make people more, not necessarily proud of being part of North Bay, but we'll get people more out and about and enjoying the assets that we have. And then in regards to housing, because that's a key component of, the housing and homelessness issue, is like, so the city, I think there's a misconception that the city will purchase buildings and act as a landlord. Like that's unfortunately not within our mandate. What we can do is we can create policies that make it as easy as possible for builders to come in and developers to come in to create housing that's very much needed, ideally affordable housing, but housing in general. So since our term began, we've actually created a housing action plan, and by we, I mean the city, which expanded our GSIP program, so our growth improvement community plan, to expand essentially we expanded our GSIP program to include the full urban boundary. So before it was really just a smaller area within North Bay that would receive incentives to build, but now it's the full urban boundary. And so because of that, we've been able to surpass our target number each year from the provincial government. And so this year I'm looking forward to another $400,000 check for the city because we've surpassed the number of housing units that we were able to approve. What I will also say is that part of that is 60 additional dwelling units. So right now, there can be 2 additional dwelling units per lot. And so that could be a basement apartment. It could be a separate dwelling, separate infrastructure. And so 60, that essentially is like a full building, right? Like it's a full apartment building, which would have cost multiple millions of dollars to build. But instead, we were able to essentially add density to the infrastructure that the city already has and allow people to build these additional dwelling units in their own, houses or whatever. And so essentially it makes, what am I trying to say here? It adds to our number of housing units without needing to, for instance, approve like a really large building that would have 60 units. I hope that made sense, but.
Yeah, well, these efforts to give more opportunity, I'm not sure. What are the incentives people have that to build that they didn't have in the rural area?
So it's the urban boundary, and the incentive, it's a grant. I don't know the exact numbers off by heart, but basically there's a checklist, and then the amount that you would receive that would go towards, for instance, the renovations a percentage would be covered.
Where is that urban boundary? Do you know?
I don't.
You know the urban boundary?
Would it be the city limits as opposed to, specific areas within the
Well,
city?
there's the rural part of the city, so it wouldn't include that part. So,
I believe it's the urban area. It's not exactly within the
probably
outside rural
everywhere
area. I can come back to you
water
on
and
that.
sewer is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already developed. Like West Ferris has a lot of, infrastructure in the ground there ready to develop. It's just interesting that developers haven't gone there. It's, it's where people want to live and,
Exactly. But I think that really what our role is to make it as easy as possible. And then another piece too, which was really exciting, is the new citywide portal, which allows applicants, so builders and developers, to much more easily manage their applications with the city. No longer do they have to walk into City Hall with their check and provide their check or pay a courier to come and bring their check into City Hall. They can just pay online. And they no longer have to attach, pages and pages of large documents to multiple emails to submit their files. They can just do it online 24/7.
I'm sure if we brought builders in here, they'd be frustrated with something. What would be the biggest barrier that developers have to do more business here?
Oh, I wish I could answer that truly. I was actually talking to a builder at the OKP, One Kid's Place fundraising lunch, and he said that what he struggles with is not enough staff, which was surprised me. That we need more staff in our building department. He thinks that the staff that we have in our building department are excellent, but
just overwhelmed
he thinks that there needs to be more.
Because there's probably lots of paperwork.
Exactly, but I think that, from what I understand, because I spoke with Carrie from our building department, and she said that this new portal should save a lot of time for staff, as well as for builders and applicants. But it'll just save a lot of time because the whole application, every application from the applicant going forward will all be on the portal in one spot. And so no longer will they be receiving calls, for instance, to ask where their applicant status is. Oh, Stuart's barking. Asking about their applicant status because they'll be able to see it online. No longer will they, again, have to accept those checks, then deposit the checks and all those pieces. It's already done. So I think that that'll really add some capacity. And I think we really heard loud and clear from citizens as well as through operational review that we need to modernize. Also from our staff. Our staff very much told us that as well. And this is another piece that we're doing to streamline our processes at City Council. Yeah.
So
at the city, not City Council.
With a little time remaining, I'd love to know a couple of things you've learned about the people around your table, a council.
Okay.
So I want only positive stuff.
I will only share positive things. So
tell us a couple of things you've learned about different people you work around the council table and you really like about them.
Okay. Oh, I love this question. Okay. Oh, I really love this question. Okay. So Deputy Mayor Horsfield, wow. Like, I had extremely positive interactions with Maggie in the past, and I've always thought very highly of Maggie, but has she ever impressed me? I think that she's the perfect person for the budget portfolio. I think she is fantastic. I think she's eloquent. I think she's very confident and not overly confident. But I think she really understands the budget piece. Whereas for me, it's a big learning curve, and I'm still asking Margaret Karpenko, our CFO, a lot of questions. And maybe she does that too, but she just seems like
she's got it all together.
She's got it all together, especially as a new mom.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Okay, next we have Councillor Inch. I think she has so much passion. I think she really listens to the concerns of organizations and citizens, and she wants to just fix the problems for them. And I think that I just think that, she's a really good advocate for the community.
Okay.
Councillor King, we've really developed a good relationship, which was surprising because we just coming in, I didn't know that that we would get along as well, I guess I should say. But him and I have a soft spot for Councillor King. I think that he
talks a lot.
No, that's not what I was going to say. That's not at all what I was going to say.
I got negative when it should be positive.
No.
I like Mark very much.
I think that he really wants to learn. Do you know, within the first few months of council starting, there was a drag show that was happening at Capitol Center. I said, Mark, have you ever been to a drag show before? He's like, no. And I'm like, want to go? And he's like, sure. And he came, I just wasn't expecting that. And he wore his Elton John t-shirt. And it was just, he's a ball. I think he's really a lot more open-minded than folks think that he is.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
I think he really, he's up for learning. He's open to learn.
And you don't do all the counselors, so I just wanted to.
I really want to do all the counselors.
You can't. We only have so much time.
Okay.
Next time you come in, you can do. Well,
Can I finish?
She's just
Okay.
about to get to Jamie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was going to get to Jamie.
Let's hear.
But if I can do Jamie, I can do more than just Jamie. How much more time do we have?
Be
Well,
quick
we're
about
already
it.
over,
Hit them
so-
all.
No, we're not.
Hit
Then
'em
you
all,
can
but
just
be
stop your
quick.
little spiel in the beginning. Okay. Okay, Jamie Lowry. Are we ready for it?
Yeah.
I think he really brings a different perspective, and I think that perspective is really important. I think that he really is passionate about seniors. He makes that very clear. And I think that perspective is needed as well. And I think that I think he brings a different perspective that for somebody who doesn't always see every perspective, I appreciate what he has to say. And I think that he does have the voters' interest in mind as well when he says it.
So one more, and that's half the
Okay,
council.
so two more. Okay, deal. Okay, Councilor Bain.
Okay. Mac Daddy.
Okay, I don't call him that.
Okay, that's fine. I do.
He also so he's been there for a while, and I so appreciate historical knowledge. I don't know. I'll bring up a point, and then he'll say, "Well, we actually explored that before, and this and this and this and this is the reason why it doesn't work." And I don't mean that he's always like negative about ideas. I think it's just incredibly important to have someone that knows the history and understands the different perspectives that a group, a community might have, for instance, about Sweetman's Garden. You know, like he would have been part of those discussions previously and would I guess, know the history. Okay, one more. Sorry, I know you're not pleased. Okay, Councillor Mitchell.
Lana.
Do I even need to say anything about Lana? Like, she's just great. I think that
is.
she's a force. I don't want to get on her bad side.
Who does?
I'm there.
I'm sure
I
you're
would have
not.
thought, though,
Oh, no,
Lana, in my mind, I thought Lana, she must be a force, but isn't as vocal as I thought she would be. But that force is still there behind the scenes and everything going on. She always brings like a great deal of wisdom and
That's
and
exactly
insight.
it. That's exactly it. And I think she very much is somebody who wants to work with the team. But at the same time, she will insert her wisdom, as you say, her knowledge at the right moment. And I think sometimes leave people breathless in the best way. Yeah, I think that
I agree
it's
with
fabulous.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great insight. That's good. We'll do
Oh
this
my gosh.
again. That was
I'm
so
not
good.
ready to
No.
finish.
Next time.
it.
Next time.
Next time. You got half of them through.
I got more than half.
I know. Because you pushed. And we let you.
I'm a politician.
I know. Justine, thank you for coming in today. Really appreciate it. And joining us on the Echo Essentials podcast.
Thank you. This has been really fun.
I'm Scott Clark.
And I'm Dave Dale.
Thanks for watching, tuning in, and liking us. We appreciate it.